Hello everyone, my name is Naranjan. Today I am here to present a demo on my full stack application called as Investment Management System. This investment management system is used to store and manage all the investment related details for customers as well as admin. This full stack application is built using HTML, CSS, JavaScript and ReactJS in the front end and Java Spring Boot in the back end and MySQL for the database. Now let's dive deeper into the demonstration for the project. So this is our login screen. We have two logins. One is for customer login and another one is for the admin login. First, let's go into the admin login and see what methods are there. Let's enter the credentials first. So here we have the admin dashboard. This is the admin dashboard. We have the header, we have the footer, we have the menu bar in the left side, and then we have the advertisements in the right side. So let's look into each method one by one. First, we have find transaction by ID. This find transaction by ID, if we give an ID in this input box, it will retrieve the details for that specific transaction. Let me enter one first and give fetch transaction. As we can see, we are getting the details for the transaction ID 1 with details like customer name, investment ID, transaction date, and so on. This is for positive scenario. Let's look out for negative scenario. Like let me enter -1 in this case. It will give us transaction ID must be greater than 0. And if I enter 200 as the transaction ID, which is not actually in the table, and click fetch ID, it will give us no transaction found with the given ID. Now let's go for the other methods, find all transactions. So here we can see all the transactions that are listed for all customers. There are different customers like Vail, Niranjan and other customers who have bought different investments. So for the customer named Vail, they have bought investment for company Nestle India. And similarly for TCS, IRTCC, and then other investments. We can see all the transactions that are done by all customers are present here. This is the use of admin login. As we can see all the details for all customers. And next go for the find customer by ID. So if I give the customer ID like 1, give fetch customer, it will give the customer details that are specific to the ID. Since I have given customer ID 1, it will retrieve the details for that specific customer with name, email, phone number, string. And with the same validation, like if I enter -1 and give fetch customer, it will give us validation. And if I keep it as like 250 customer ID, give fetch customer, that customer is not there in the table. So it will give us a error using the span tag saying that no customer found with the given ID. Now let's go into the find customers by ID. What does customers ID find customers by ID do is that if I enter a customer ID like 50, say for example, it will retrieve the customers having ID greater than 50. I'm giving fetch customers here. You can see this is the scroll up and down for this center layout. So you can see all the customers having like Alexa, Jersey, Niranjan, having customer ID greater than 50. So this is for the find customers by ID. And next find customer by substring. So this is helpful. Like if we enter the substring like JAN, this substring, if it matches with the customer name, then that customer will be retrieved. See? So we can see here like Niranjan, there are multiple customers named Niranjan, like Niranjan, ID2 has Niranjan, ID98 has Niranjan. But this is a substring in the customer name, Niranjan. We have another customer named Janaki, where the JAN is present. So that customer is also retrieved along with their details. Next, go for find all customers. So these are all the customers list for our project. We have Vail, Niranjan and all other details in the tabular format. And next we have find customer summary list. So these are all the summary, like we've seen find all customers. This displays all the details for that specific customer. Whereas summary list means it gives us a gist of that customer, giving us the ID, name, phone number, and country alone, rather than giving the entire details. Now let's go to the find customer by this ID. Basically, it gives all the customers in descending order. The customer ID is 109 here, and if we go to all the way to the down, you can see the customer ID 1. So displayed in descending order. And now we'll go to customer inner join transaction. So these are all the SQL operations, like SQL inner join operation that is performed between the customer and transaction table. And this is the left join operation. And next we have the find transaction count by customer. So what this table tells us is that it finds out the customer, how many transactions that customer has done. For example, the customer named Wade has done total 15 transactions. Maybe he might have bought a transaction or sold a transaction or got a dividend from a transaction, but total transaction that he has done is 15. And similarly for other customers also. This is the transaction count by customer. And now let's go to the next method called find customer with minimum transaction. So if we enter a transaction count as 5, it will retrieve the customers who have done more than 5 transactions. I'm giving fetch. So these are the customers who have done more than 5 transactions. As you can see, all the transactions are having like transaction count is greater than 5. So Wade has done 15, Niranjan has done more than 5 transactions. Specifically, he has done 6 transactions in total. Similarly for others. If we enter like 25 in this case and click fetch customers, we'll say no customers found with the given transaction code, because the maximum transaction that the person has done is itself 15. So now we've given 25, it's not there. So it will say that no customer found with the given transaction code. Next, go to the average transaction amount. This one is it is the average transaction amount for that specific customer. So the customer named Wade has done an average of 53,428 rupees for all the transactions. This is the average for all the transactions that he has done, and similarly for all other customers. Here we have the 3 Niranjan. So these are all 3 different users. This is just the first name alone. So the second name will differ. That's why we are having 3 records here. Now let's go to next method, transaction amount. So in this find transaction above amount means it will retrieve the transactions where the transaction amount will be greater than the given amount. Say for example, I am entering 50,000 rupees. We can see all these transactions will have amount greater than the 50,000. Like the first record having transaction ID 60 will have the transaction amount 1,71,000 rupees. So it is greater than 50,000, so it is getting displayed. Similarly for all other transaction IDs that are greater than the transaction amount getting displayed. And I am entering a negative value here as like seeing for a negative scenario. You see, as we just enter the negative value, it's giving 0. I mean, amount must be greater than 0. If we enter like 5 lakh rupees, which is the highest maximum which no user have done that transaction, we'll say no transaction found above the specified amount. Now let's go to the final method for this Atomic login, that is find transactions before a given date. Now let me enter a customer named Niranjan. Transaction date, let me keep it as 31st December 2024. This will retrieve the transactions for the customer named Niranjan and transaction purchased before 31st December 2024. So we can see the customer name is Niranjan, and then the transaction amount is here 4,000 rupees. 4,000, and the transaction date, right? He went at 31st December 2024. So all these dates are just before that. December 26, 2024, November 11, 2024. So this is what define transactions before a given date to. And not only we can give the just a full name. Even if I give us a substring like NIRA, it will fetch those transactions also. Let me give us JAN to just display for since JAN is a substring for Niranjan, it gets printed. And Janaki for Janaki, JAN is also there, so it gets printed. So this is for the find transactions before a given date. And now that we've seen the admin login, now let's go into the customer login. Now let us use logout. But before that, I also want to say one thing. If we use logout here, after clicking logout, we came to the login screen again. But I cannot, even after I click the back button, it will not go to the again login page. It is because privacy concern. Once we log out, we again need to log in to go to the admin login. Okay. This is for our admin login, and we've seen that. Now let's go to the customer login. Just a second. Okay. But before logging in for customer, first we need to sign up, right? Okay. Now let's create an account. Niranjan. Let's do some validations. I've only filled 2 values here. If I click next, it will show us it should not be empty. So this is a null field validation. Now I'll be entering some details like email ID. You see here, I've just given Niranjan.Jayakumar.K at just at. I've not entered the domain for that email ID. And if I click next, it show enter valid email address. So this validation is done using regular expression, regex. So what it will do is that before the add symbol, there should be strings, and after that add symbol, there should be again string should be present. So in sense, the domain for that email ID should be present, whether it has to be either gmail.com or yahoo.com. So let me enter gmail.com. Click next. Okay. So here we go. Enter the next details. Okay. Now another type of validation is also done here. So if I select country India, you see here nationality is just it's empty, right? It's showing select nationality. If I select country India here, it automatically sets the value as Indian. If I set United States here, it automatically set the value as American. So it is basically like if this one changes, this one automatically changes. So it's getting like this field is dependent on this one, and it's get auto updated. And now let me choose India here. And if I further move on to state, right, here we'll be getting states that are only specific to India, not to United States. Let me choose Tamil Nadu, and if I again select city here, these cities are specific to the state we chosen before, that is Tamil Nadu. Let me choose Chennai here. Okay, so India, Tamil Nadu, Chennai. So this type of filtering, that is values are getting filtered based on the higher level values. In this higher level value, in the sense, country is the higher level value, India. So if you choose India, state values are filtered. If you choose state, city values are filtered. So these type of filtering is called as cascading filtering or dynamic filtering. Now let's go to the next step. So we came through multiple steps. This is the first step of the account creation. This is the next step of the account creation, and now this is the next step. This is the final step. So we are having 3 steps to create an account. This is called as multi-step forms. Now let's again fill it. So if I again play like without filling values, if I submit, it again shows error saying that fields cannot be. So I need to enter fields. For a bank card, I need to enter 16 digits. Let me enter 15 digits. Let's see the validation finds it or not. And for CVV, I'll enter 2 digits, credit card, and SBI bank, IFSC code, okay. Password, and let me click submit. You see here we are getting error saying bank card must be exactly 16 digits. So I'm entering one more digit. The card series should be 3 digits, 1, 2, 3. IFSC code must be exactly 11 alphanumeric character. So alphanumeric character here means the string should can have alphabetical as well as numeric data type. Okay, so I'm entering one more character. And password will have certain rules saying that 9 is the minimum character, 16 is the maximum character, at least one uppercase, one lowercase, and one number. Okay. Now let me enter. It should be 16 digits. Let's enter it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Click submit. Okay, we are getting another error here, and this one is not from the front end, that is the JavaScript validation. This one actually comes from the BO layer. It shows that invalid input, phone number already exists, choose a mobile number. We go to the previous steps, and here we can see that I gave this mobile number, right? So this mobile number has been already used to create another account. So we cannot use another same mobile number to create another account because the unique constraint in the database fails. So let's give a different mobile number. Okay. Now, go next, create account. Okay. Account created successfully, your customer ID is 110. So this is our customer ID, which is auto generated by the auto increment primary key. Now let's log in. Enter the credentials for that user and then the password, click login. Now we are into the user dashboard. So this is the user dashboard that we have here. Here we have 4 different methods: add transaction, update transaction, find transaction by ID, find all transactions, find all investments. Since we just created an account and we didn't add any transaction, it is showing no transaction form. First, let's add the transaction. Here you see this number we've seen somewhere, right? Yes. While creating the account and after submitting the form details, we got your customer ID is 110. And after logging in, if you add a transaction, this one is automatically pre-filled. So this type is called as local storage. So when we get the data from the backend server, right, that specific storage will be stored, and if the user logins, the customer ID will be stored in the local storage, and it will be used for further operations to make the work easier. It is because if you click add transaction, and if the user has to enter their customer ID, every time they need to go to the setting and find their transaction. So, but to ignore that, we just use this thing, using the local storage to store the data from backend and then using it for further operations. So this is the customer ID that is automatically created. And we have investment ID. So let's go and see what other investments are there. So we have 5 different companies who are all offering public funds. So here we have Nestle India, PNG, PCSI, RCTP, Britannia Global, and their respective investment ID. So let me choose investment ID 1, Nestle India. Yeah. So investment ID 1 and transaction date as today, and transaction type. You choose a buy, first is buy, and then transaction status successful, and let's just submit it without anything. Okay. And since I did not fill units and transaction amount, it shows it cannot be anything. Now I had to fill 2 and then 400. Just let me enter 400. Like enter minus 4,000. Now negative case scenario, it will show us amount must be positive number. So let me enter 400 rupees. Click submit. So the transaction is getting finally added, and the transaction ID is 94, and this one is also auto generated by that specific primary key. We have a transaction table in the database. That primary key will be auto generated, and that ID only is showing 94. If we go and see the find all transactions, yes, now since it is added, we can see that transactions be done. Let me add another one more transaction quickly. Transaction ID 2, transaction date, let me choose that 4, transaction type mobile, successful, units, let me put as 5, and 5,000, submit. Okay. So again, we get the transaction ID. Once we find out transaction, these are getting added. Now let's go to the update transaction. You see here, this one again the value is getting, since we are using local storage, from the local storage we are getting the customer ID, and it's automatically getting pre-filled. Now let me enter the transaction ID. This transaction ID, if you want to update any transaction, we can go and see in find all transaction and get the transaction ID. Let me choose 94. Give transaction ID 94 here, fetch transaction. We can see all the values are getting pre-filled, right? So if I just give the transaction ID 94, these are the values that we previously entered, so that user can see which values they've entered before, and then now they can make a change. Now I just want to change the amount, okay, from 400 to 800 rupees. So just done, and amount is, let me keep the units as 4. Let me keep the different transaction status as pending, and click update transaction. Okay, we are getting transaction updated successfully. So, and again, now we can go and see here, find all transaction. You see here, the values are being updated. For the transaction ID 94, the status before was successful, now it's pending. And the units before it was 2, now it's 4. Amount it was previously 400, now it's 800. So this is how add transaction is done, update transaction is done, and the find all transaction just displays all the transactions that are only specific to this user, and find all investments are there to help customers find what investments are available to them. Now we have just the final method, transaction ID. So here we have a transaction, different transaction, right? 94, 95. If I enter like 95 here, we'll be getting the transaction details for this. If I enter 96, it's not found. No transaction found with a given ID, since we don't have any transaction ID 96. Yeah, and one main difference is that for admin login, if we click find all transaction, all the transactions will be displayed for all customers. That is for admin login, because they have control for all customers. Whereas for customer login, that customer should see only their own transactions. They can only add, update, or see their own transaction, and not other customers' transactions. That's why we have separate customer related login and admin login. So this is regarding the customer login, and now we've seen all the login methods, that is admin and customer, and all the separate REST API methods inside that. Thank you for watching. Yeah, once again, thank you for watching till the end. Bye.